Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to show you a little performance. We found an extremely interesting artist on Instagram whose answers we found in our chamber show. The artist himself wished to carry out this theatrical performance. These being the words of Kenneth Ian Rogers. Hello, Ivan.
Hello, Ian. And first question for you. What is suprematism?
Supremacism. This is what Malevich had to say. Art no longer cares to solve the state and religion. It is no longer wishes to illustrate the history of manners. It wants to have nothing further to do with the object as such and believes that it can exist in and for itself without things. That is the time-tested wellspring of life, he wrote in his work. I can appreciate that view and see that it has a purpose in a very limited way. It is an aesthetic mythology for those who choose not to get their hands and souls dirty. Contrary to this aesthetic devices expressing the ultimate in artistic feelings, I feel they are purely decorative abstract forms that either please the eye or not, based on each individual person's visual education. Those eyes are generally quite elitist. Removing art as a means of propaganda from the state and religion is laudable to a point, but should not mean removing art as a means of recording and observing the space between birth and death of billion-dollar citizens. Reducing their life experience of physical existence and complex neural concept or ideas, being human, etc., to aesthetically placed geometric forms and primary covers is a somewhat reductionistic and may have suited the Nazis with their strategically placed stars and triangles. But I think as devices to record nothing about nothing, about the existence of billion theories, suprematism has a very limited role to play, apart from looking decorative in a university student's study. Ivan?
Ian, a second question. In contemporary art, provocation dominates as an artistic device.
Provocation has always been a dominant device in generating a response from the observer from the far back as the hand marks in a prehistoric cave that shouted out ownership and my hand is this big, beware. We contemporary people are little changed from our ancient ancestors. We still have the hand to marks on the cave wall as our calling card. We still produce the images of the food we consume and look with envy at those who have paid more and who had less hunting to endure. We embellish our bodies with marks to obliterate, enhance our desirability. Provocation as a device in contemporary art is endemic. Many of us are provoked because of our limited life experience. For example, Damien Hirst Fly Hotel provoked horror in many people in the UK when it was first displayed for its evocation of seediness, death, decay, and disease. For someone like myself, brought up in Africa, at a particular point of history, it was a pale imitation of my mother's kitchen, where death, decay, and disease lurked everywhere. I am provoked by ignorance that displayed by others and equally my own. When confronted, I attempt to diffuse my responses by undertaking some research and self-education in an attempt to understand what I have seen or heard and perhaps not understood, actually.
Okay. Ian, I have a little longer question for you. Do you think that with the invasion of photography, realistic art is fading away in artist society?
No. Next question.
Okay, question number 4. What place does politics occupy in your works?
Politics is a cradle to the grave part of human existence. We are born into the politics of family and extended family life. We graduate to the politics of the playground and kindergarten. From there, we discover the politics of larger, more impersonal institutions in the school system, where the added event of gender and sexual politics and power play and the politics of history invade our narrow world. Within no time at all, we have discovered the politics of language, the politics of race, creed, and aging. We are confronted by our own and other sexuality and walk the tightrope of the politics of desire. Then there is the politics of power and governance, where we attempt to make sense of the messages given out by political parties who wish to govern our population based on a loose acknowledgement that the agenda is as precise as a poorly written astrology card. So politics, humor, desire, or ignorance, and generosity are in the very piece I do.
Okay, question number 5. Which people are more different or the same?
Our differences are our equality.
So clear. Okay, Ian, question number 6. How to understand when an artist's work begins to harm people?
That is a very difficult question. Provocation is, in my mind, an essential stimulus for learning. Doubt is also a wonderful stimulus to educate oneself and know less. I feel that a McDonald's sign, for example, that entices me to eat shit food, or a vodka commercial that entices me to drink alcohol, are more harmful than exotic or deranged artwork. I can talk about, I can talk for others, so I am lost to know what visual pain threshold others have. There is a general social convention that young people should be protected from extreme images. That consensus is legitimate and can be revised by societies from time to time.
I see. Okay, Ian, question number 7. Creativity is usually associated with creating something. Can destruction be creativity?
Willful destruction seems pointless, but if that is the creative point, experimenting with one's work, own work, and destroying it and finding stimulus in the process is fine, I think.
Okay. Now, Ian, question number 8. Can violence, oppression, inflicting pain and suffering on other people be part of the artistic process?
No, actually, no, I don't think so. The representation of it is everywhere apparent, especially in my own work, where the oppression and suffering inflicted by the politics and of psychopathic cult leaders is a metaphor for self-inflicted ignorance, lack of generosity, humor, complacency and an act of willful destruction that I know I am guilty of, and I see many others engaged in as well.
Okay. And question number 9. How to understand the distortion and substitution of concepts? Should a person in his creativity activity separate good and evil, truth and lies?
The narrative artwork is full of symbolic marks, figures, colors, and shapes, and engaged in events like that are the suprematists aimed to do about nothing but themselves. The artwork has no truth, no lies attached to it. The events displayed are absurd manifestations that give the observer the option to be disturbed or not and act upon their own sense of unease or not.
Okay. Yeah, and last one question. What is philosophy and history of your artistic process?
Last but not least, I enjoyed growing up in Africa and escaping. I regret being badly educated, but relished the process of educating myself. I'm badly read and have not gone much beyond Nietzsche, Hannah Arendt, and Enid Blyton. My heroes are Vermeer, Grunewald, and Malevich. Vermeer, especially as there are only 27 pieces of his work. I treasure my life with my partner. I don't trust an artist who has less than 80% rubbish work to explain the 10% of their output that is good.
Okay, thank you, Jan, for so your answers. It's so clearly for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ivan. It was a pleasure for me. I was in a great joy. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye. Okay.